just doing research on finances and that sort of thing, what I found out is that if financial education goes up, then bank profit goes down. Writing a book, that was an interesting experience, I can tell you that much, because one, I hated school and I hated reading when I was a kid, so which is interesting, and if you hate school and hate reading, you should probably write a book. I don't know if that's even counts, but my book came out of frustration about basically, if people are left financially uneducated, there's a lot of money made in keeping people financially uneducated, and that was something that I read about just doing research and on this system, and it's everywhere in the world, and so I sat down at Starbucks one day, and it was actually have you ever heard of John Maxwell? He's like a leadership guy, and I sat in one of his seminars, and he said you need to read, write, and think. There was 5 points that he gave, but I'm a bad note taker too, so I heard read, write, and think, and I said, well, I can read and write and I can think. Maybe I should try and write a book. And I just sat down at Starbucks for pretty much over a period of 5 years, 2-finger typing at Starbucks, and I ended up with this huge stack of papers, nothing like a book. And I happened to get a consultant, and his wife went through this whole stack of papers and said, this is the good stuff, this is the bad stuff. Now go back and start over, basically. So it was 5 years of writes and rewrites and 2 consultants and countless people giving me feedback, and good and bad. And yeah, it was 5 years to get the final product, but there it is, Rich Man, Poor Bank. And also we got it in Espanol, so good, Hombre Rico, Banco Pobre. And we're also coming in Mandarin Chinese. This is our next thing for the book. And this book is basically what the banks don't want you to know about money, and just doing research on finances and that sort of thing. What I found out is that if financial education goes up, then bank profit goes down, and there's a lot of miseducation that goes into the population as far as people don't get educated on money, and I asked, why don't people get educated, and that's pretty much it. If you keep people financially uneducated, miseducate them, most of the stuff you get in school, most of the stuff you get from friends and family, your own parents, the information that they're giving you a lot of times is going to be the cause of your financial stress. The wealthy people are doing things very different. The way they think, what they invest into is very different. And I say one of the things in the book is if you take your kids down to the bank to open up a checking and savings account, it's the worst financial foundation you can give to a child. Okay, it basically says you should trust the bank. Okay. And I don't know any big banks that are there for to really help you get wealthy. And then worse than that, the bank says to save money and get good credit. But if you save money, well, banks get wealthy. That's how they invest that money. So saving money makes bankers wealthy, and getting good credit definitely makes bankers wealthy. So we keep teaching populations to save money and get good credit. All that will do, the end result is that would strip most of the wealth from the population and transfer it to big banking corporations. Just that simple thing that we take every day, save money, get good credit. It's the worst financial foundation you can give to kids. So I wanted to talk about that in this book and say, look, we don't need that. You shouldn't be doing that anymore. And finally, you don't need a bank to save, you don't need a bank to borrow, and you don't need a bank to invest. And that's, most people don't realize that you can do that. So that was the passion. That was really what drove me to write this book, is just financial education for anyone.